Hello and welcome to this video tutorial on the Tadano online tools. In this video, I would like to introduce the CraneSelect Plus tool. This tool is great to get started with your job planning. It makes it really easy to pick the right crane from your fleet or from the entire Tadano portfolio. By clicking on the CraneSelect Plus tool, we directly go there. Here we see the input mask with only a few input fields that we have to fill out to get first results. In the beginning, we have to choose whether we want to select a crane from a fleet that was set up before or from all Tadano cranes. How such a crane is selected, I will explain in another video. So now we will choose this fleet. Here we have the working radius, the hook height, and the lifting load. What exactly these values mean for certain configurations you can see here on the right-hand side, where we have these little pictograms of the different boom configurations. Here you can also find an explanation and help link with more information about the CraneSelect Plus tool. You can either input these values by the input fields or with these sliders. Once these three input fields are filled, we get these additional input fields to add further selection criteria. For now, we will hit Determine Configuration and see a list of cranes that are capable of doing this lift. Now we can also add a second load case. Again, we have to input these values. We see that we have short loading times after each input, so the system is performing a pre-filtering again. And now we get a list of cranes that can perform both lifts we've just entered. We can use these input fields to limit our selection a little further, for example, by reducing the maximum load utilization to around 90%. We could also limit the cranes. We could limit the boom system. If for a certain reason maybe the tiltable jib is already rigged, you could say, okay, I want to only have configurations with a jib, and then we hit Determine Configurations again and see that we've now a list and the boom configuration is with the FJ. This list is always sorted from the smallest cranes with the smallest capacity to the bigger cranes with more capacity. Clicking on one of these cranes will open a list with all the crane configurations that can perform the lifts we entered. We see a list of these configurations that is again sorted by the setup effort. With these configurations, we see that we start with small counterweights and short outrigger width, short boom or jib length, and go to longer systems with more counterweight and maybe more outrigger width. By clicking on one of these configurations, we will be led to the detail page where we see more information about this configuration. Here we have some inputs we already made and also additional information like the maximum admissible wind velocity, the lines of rope we need, a hook we can use, and down here we get the load chart for this configuration, also with hook height values. Both of our inputs are marked here in blue, so we can easily determine which values are of interest for us. On the right-hand side, we see the hook height load capacity diagram, which shows by this color map on up to which height and to which radius we can lift certain loads. By hovering with the mouse over this color map, we see the exact values for each point. This diagram is especially interesting if we do not only look at it for a certain state, but for example, for the whole crane with all its configurations. So now in this diagram, every possible configuration with this crane is considered, and we see what's the maximum hook height possible with this crane and what's the maximum load radius possible with this crane and what load can we lift here. Hovering with the mouse over this color map, we see which values are determining the loads we have there. If we want to zoom it in a little bit, we can create a box by clicking and holding down the mouse button and releasing it. We will zoom in. We can change the gradation of this color map, for example, in 2-ton steps, and see whatever suits best for the view we just have. By double-clicking into the diagram, we will return to our initial view. If we want to return to the configuration selection page, we can choose this tab up here and return to the list. Now maybe we want to compare it with another state, so we click onto the other state and get into the detail view again. Once we've found an appropriate crane configuration, we can click on Transfer to Outrigger Reaction, and all our input will be transferred to this tool, so we don't have to do the input again and can do our outrigger calculations directly. I will introduce the outrigger reaction force calculation tool in another video. For now, this is all I wanted to present on the CraneSelect Plus tool. I hope you found it interesting. I hope you can use it to your benefits, and goodbye.